G'day guys, I'm Brett.
And I'm Mel, and we're Sveto Strippin'. We have been travelling around Australia now for, according to my polar steps, 950 days today.
Nice round number there. And in this video, we're going to share with you guys a whole bunch of things that we wish we knew before we started living this lifestyle. Starting with number one, you don't need an expensive setup. If you watch a lot of YouTube, you've probably watched the big creators like Trip in a Van,
Alec Adventures,
and you might be mistaken for thinking that you need a very expensive setup to travel around Australia. But I picked those two examples on purpose because both of those guys started in far more humble setups. And we want to tell you that you don't need a setup that's worth over $500,000. We've met people that have been traveling and living full-time out of the backs of cars. We've met people that have been doing a lap in camper trailers.
Even a guy on a motorbike was doing a lap.
But like, I've been asked by people, do you think I could do a lap in my Jayco Expander?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, mate, you can. You can do a lap in anything. You're still going to end up in the same beautiful locations. You're still going to have the same view. Like, you can absolutely do it. Just stay within your means and don't put off living this lifestyle because you think you need a really expensive setup and all the crazy things. You really don't. Number two, keep it simple.
There is a crap ton of merchandise out there directly marketed at new caravan owners, and honestly, you don't need it. A couple of examples come to mind. Hose bags, we had them, we don't use them. You don't really need them, to be honest. For you, I know it's annexes. You can't see the point.
Yeah, I have to laugh when I see people arrive and then spend 45 minutes, an hour setting up an annex.
I need to pack it down like a day or two later.
Yeah, look, I think in the caravan lifestyle, you just want a nice simple setup. You arrive, for us it takes us about 2 minutes to pull out our awning and we're done.
We're done, yeah.
We might spend another 2 minutes pulling out the table and chairs.
Yeah.
Like, these things that take a lot of time, I just don't think you need them. They just make life more difficult. And
there's another point to that too. Everything weighs something.
That's right. The more stuff you have, the more you weigh, the more you weigh.
The more you weigh.
And getting your caravan weights right is really difficult. And if you think you need all this stuff, then you're going to have a hard time getting your caravan weights right. I think the key thing that we've learned is
less is more.
Less is more. You don't need a lot of stuff to travel around Australia. You just need the things that you're going to use every day.
3, buy quality. I know our number one point was you don't need expensive things, but buy quality on the items you use every day.
For example, our chairs.
Yeah.
We spent over $100 on these chairs and I felt extremely guilty about the purchase. But every time that I pull this chair out and I sit in it and when I pack it away and it's nice and small and it fits in this space, I am so happy about this purchase.
The other thing too, drink bottles. We had crap drink bottles for like 2 years and we've only just got good ones, and I wish I'd had them a long time ago, to be honest, because so much better, easier to clean, like makes life that much better.
Should have also mentioned that we sat in really crappy chairs for about a year before we went out and splurged on the good chairs.
Yeah.
Another example I can share with you is a mate of mine spent over $1,000 on a solar blanket. And then we compared our solar blankets, and his is about half my size and it inputs in more amps into the battery. So yeah, I think on those things you're going to use all the time. Don't be shy about spending some money on them and buy quality.
Number 4, weather.
We'll weather the weather whether we like it or not. I mean, we're still stopping this up.
We can't get it right.
There is the obvious. You want to be south in summer and you want to be north in winter.
I think it's because we travel slower as well. We've got work and school days and we just don't leave places quick enough.
Yeah, so we end up being in South Australia when winter is coming.
And we don't own any warm clothes.
And we're crying. And then we ended up being in Exmouth when summer hit.
And it was too windy. And
it was too hot.
Too hot.
But you bring up windy, that's another point. There are more nuances to just being south in summer and north in winter. You need to understand the seasons and the places that you're going. So we just did the Ningaloo region and we couldn't pick a worse time of year to do it. The Ningaloo is windy from September until January. Guess when we arrived?
September.
So it was really windy. So just pay attention to the seasons and plan where you're going, and you might be able to not make some of the same mistakes that we continually make.
Is that still recording?
It wasn't.
It is recording.
No, I just turned it on. Mel just got a phone call while I was trying to say this point. Another thing about the weather is wind. Look, wind is a horrible thing to deal with. It can make a camp miserable. But more than that, driving into a strong headwind can significantly increase your fuel costs. We've experienced it where we've seen like over 10 litres per 100 kilometre increases when we're driving into a headwind. It's the reason why you get that advice to travel Australia in an anti-clockwise direction, because if you do that, you generally will drive with a tailwind. But what we do, and cue the little thing blogging out now, is we use the weather app Windy, and that gives us a really good sense of which direction the wind's going to be blowing and how heavy it's going to be. And I'll take that away from you now. So we might delay our travels based on that strong wind condition. So yeah, that's just a good tip, and it's something that we've learnt on the road. Number 5, you can cook inside.
I'll take this one, darling. No, it's not my area, I don't cook. All over to you, sweet.
Look, we put... I'll talk about cooking. We put this one in right after weather because the weather can have such a huge impact in your ability to cook outside. And look, when we were looking to buy a caravan, all the salesmen were telling us, you don't cook inside. You don't cook inside because it'll make the caravan smell like meat. That doesn't happen. Not the case. We found that we cooked inside 80% of the time. Yeah. And it was for this reason that we ended up just ditching the outdoor kitchen that came with our caravan.
Saved a bunch of weight too.
Yeah, speaking of weight, saved us a whole bunch of weight. So the issue is, if you try and cook outside, you get smashed by, you're going to be cooking in the dark or at night, so you get smashed by bugs in a lot of places that you're camping. And you don't really want moths in your pasta.
No.
Or it's windy.
Or it's raining.
Or it's raining. But again, wind. It'll blow out, or it'll make the cooktops not work very effectively. So yeah, we just wanted to put this one in here. You can cook inside, and don't be sold on these outdoor kitchens. Cooking inside is totally fine. We cook inside
a lot of the time.
All of the time now, other than when we use the barbecue.
Yeah, we got the barbecue outside, but yeah, we cook inside. Brett cooks inside a lot of the time. Number 6. Transporting water.
When I first prepared, I'll take this one as well, Mel. When I was first preparing everything for us to do this travel and full-time lifestyle on the road, I didn't put transporting water high up on the priority list. I didn't get anything sorted for that, but it didn't take us very long to quickly realise
that it was important.
It's something that we needed. So we were on the road for probably about 4 months before we jumped online and ordered ourselves a 105 litre water bladder. We just put that in the car that travels in the footwell where the kids sit. We've also got another tank on the car as well. Which
is invaluable. If you're going to have a car, have a water tank on it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we use that one that's on the car. We fill that up and we might go to the beach. We can rinse our feet off. Yeah. But between that tank and the water bladder, we can move about 170 litres of water, which means we don't have to move the caravan to refill, because the first thing that you're going to have to replace or replenish on the road is going to be water. You've got solar that's going to generate every day, but the water's going to run out. Yeah. And yeah, you don't want to give up. If you've got the best site, you don't want to give that up. You don't want to have to hitch up. It's such an effort. If you can just transport water in your car, then that's definitely a game changer. So I would say get that ability set up before you start traveling, because
it's amazing. It's a game changer. And
it's necessary.
It's amazing how frugal you can be with your water if you can't get it.
Number 7, solar and power needs.
Alright guys, so now I've got a vague idea. I know about the buttons, but Brett's got all the stats, so I'll let him talk.
I'll take this one as well, will I?
Yeah.
Look, understanding your solar and power needs is something that you should kind of get a feel for before you get on the road, and make sure you've got a big enough power setup for what you're going to be doing living off-grid. One important thing to keep in mind, and something that we've learned on the road, is that in winter you'll receive significantly less solar input in summer. And to kind of put that into numbers for you so you can get a bit of an idea, in summer we input about 28 amps per hour, and in winter we input about 20 amps per hour, and that's way up north where you should be getting pretty good sun. So that's about 30% less. That's quick math, please don't quote me on that. It's about 30% less in winter. So if you're going to do your testing before you leave in summer, just keep in mind that that'll be 30% less in winter. To give you a bit of an idea of what we're running on, because you really can't what's the word? I can't tell you what you're going to need. I can only tell you what we're using, and then you've got to assess your own situation. But we have 450 watts of solar panels on our roof. We've got 300 amp hours of battery bank. And I would say that we don't quite have enough for the way that we live. We make do. We don't run out of power, but we've got to ration our power.
Yeah, we've got
to be power Nazis. I think Mel's got a few tips on that. We'll give you a few insights into some of the things that we actually do to make our lives work.
Yeah, so a couple of neat tricks is anything that needs charging, we do it during the day. Nothing gets charged overnight because you might need that power to get you through overnight. You might be running the fans because it's hot, so you want that extra power. So everything gets charged during the day, nothing overnight. And another neat trick is training your kids. So when we're in a caravan park, we say, yep, you can use your light at night, or hey, we're off grid, so we're water conscious, we're power conscious, just so that they understand how it's all working as well, just because they're usually the ones sucking the power.
So we're like, turn your lights off! Yeah. We're not on power!
Craig, use your bulb light.
But look, we won't use our computers at night when we're not working because we need that power so that we can work during the day. So I think the big tip is make sure you've got a big enough power and solar setup for your lifestyle. We do wish we had a little bit more.
Yeah.
Number 8, talk to people and make friends.
Considering we haven't left the caravan for 3 days due to work and school, it's pretty funny.
What can you do? We've got to do work and school.
That's our lifestyle.
Actually, you know what, Mel? I think you might be able to handle this subject.
So, walk around, talk to people. If people smile and wave at you, go have a chat with them. You might be able to gain some cool places to go from where they've been or learn something new. Like, after I finish work, I'm out with my wine, talking to everyone.
I don't see her.
And I just chat to people because, you do miss that community and it's always great. We've made some of our best friends by chatting and talking to people around parks.
But you can learn so much too. We've just got a brand new hack for our clothesline that we've installed off the last people that we had a chat with. But they'll also, often they'll come from where you're going. So you can get some advice about where you can go, what you can see. It's a really good idea to not be shy, don't be a shut-in, go and chat with people. Pretty much every traveller's, look, if they smile at you, if they wave at you, they're gonna be friendly. They're not gonna turn you away if you go and say, hello, I'm Brett.
And you always get good tips about your caravan as well, or things you want to do to it because you've seen someone else do it. So I would totally recommend it.
Oh, and the other thing I will say is nothing makes a camp better than making good friends with your neighbours. It can turn an okay camp into a really good camp. So
especially if the kids play really well together, you can just sit and watch them.
And we made our point, don't be shy, go and say hi. Number 9, services and repairs.
Ugh, this is honestly an organisational and logistical nightmare.
Something that you might not have thought about when you start travelling Australia is you have to service your car, and you probably did think about that. But what you might not consider is you're down to the one car. So how do you go about dropping it off? How do you go about picking it up?
Make friends.
Well, you can go back to the previous tip we told you and make friends, and maybe they'll help you drop it off and pick it up. There's a few things you can do. You can find a service agent that'll give you a courtesy car. That's what we try and do. But look, it's just a pain in the ass. But the bigger thing that we wanted to talk about is your van servicing. Your caravan actually needs a service just as frequently as the car needs a service, and when you're living in your caravan full time, putting it in for a service is extremely inconvenient.
It is so annoying. And the other thing too is you have to tell them you live in the van. You can't have it for 2 days. We'll have nowhere else to go. And all the good places are usually booked out months in advance.
Mm-hmm. You've really got to give it a bit of forethought as to where and when you're going to get your caravan serviced. You need to do a bit of research, you need to check the reviews because trust us, and we've had experiences with this.
Yes, we have.
There are dodgy people out there and they won't have a 3-month wait list, but anybody who's got good reviews in the caravan industry, they're going to have a 2 to 3 month wait list. So you need to know where you're going to be 3 months in advance, and you need to be booking and planning and being prepared to get your caravan serviced. And that's something that we had no idea about before we started travelling, and I think it's a good tip for you guys so that you can hit the ground running or rolling, so to speak.
Number 10.
You will be busy. You won't end up having as much free time as you think you're going to have.
Even because you don't even work, so you thought you'd have tons of free time. What did you pack when we first started?
I put in a pasta rolling machine when we first started travelling, thinking I was going to have all this time to do some exciting cooking,
Yeah.
You just don't. You're always busy. You're out exploring, you're going and
chatting,
doing
you're
things,
socialising.
meeting and socialising.
I mean, it took me 8 months to learn how to braid my hair because I thought, yeah, I'd do it in like 2 weeks, but it took ages because I just didn't have any time.
There's a lot of things to fix.
Yes.
You're often fixing things because this should have been a tip on its own, but stuff breaks a lot in the caravan world, so you're always fixing things. Yeah, look, there's not really anything you can plan and prepare for other than like don't put a pasta machine in the caravan if it's not
You're not
something you
gonna
did
use it.
previously because you're probably not going to use it. But look, you're always going to be busy and you're probably not going to have as much time as you think you're going to have.
Yeah, but definitely do plan some down days. So sometimes we just plan a week at a caravan park where we don't have any plans and we just relax and catch
Personally,
up.
I wish we planned more downtime.
It's always so much to do though.
Well, it's hard because we've got this weekly video output requirement for YouTube. So it'd be nice if we take a week off, then we run out of content because we're only about 2 weeks in advance. But yeah, downtime. Try and have downtime, and just a bit of advice is
down days. Don't be afraid to put your kids on a device if you need downtime because you are with them 24/7.
coming from the one who's like, you cannot let them go on a device.
I'm learning though, but you're like. You need downtime as well as a parent, and if you're with your kids 24/7, you need a break and they need a break. So, don't be afraid to utilise whatever tools you have in your toolbox and you'll be fine.
All right, it is now number 11, our last tip. Number 11. It's expensive. Travelling Australia is expensive.
Yeah.
When we were planning to travel Australia, there was this adage that you could travel Australia for $1,000 a week or 50 grand a year. Not true.
Not true. And we try and do everything like budget. We're like budget conscious.
We're thinking about changing our name to the Budget Family instead of Svetto Strippin.
And I record every expense we make so that we can try and see where we can save money.
Yeah, look, if you're a family and you're travelling in a caravan, you're keeping it under 50 grand a year, please reach out.
Tell us how you're doing it, please.
Please send pay. Let us know. You might be able to get away with that sort of costing if you're a couple and you're in a car and you're not towing a van. But yeah, look, travelling Australia is expensive. If you'd like to know just how expensive it is for us, we've done a video on that. You could click this video here where we've gone over 2 years of expenses, our first 2 years travelling. Hopefully that'll give you some insights. We're going to finish this video here. Thanks so much for watching.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.